warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We continue our lessons today. I think last week we talked about the general information about the course of MPU2222. All right, and this week we are going to start with introduction to public speaking. All right, let's see the content of this lesson. All right, when we talk about definition of public speaking, it can be defined as the process and act of speaking or giving a lecture to a group of people in a structured, deliberate manner and intended first to inform, second to influence, or maybe in a certain occasion to entertain a listening audience. All right, how does it relevant to us? Why public speaking is significant to our life? Because first, public speaking is a vital meaning of a civic engagement. Civic mean public engagement. It is a way to express your idea. When you have a good idea, you can express your idea to a public. You know, it can have an impact on issues that matter in society. For example, now we have pandemic, right? We want you to express idea. Maybe your words can give a good impact, a positive impact on the issues that become trending nowadays. And also, your public speaking can make a difference in things that people care so much, right? Okay, we move to the next slide. Okay, guys, there are certain issues that maybe might confuse us between public speaking and a daily conversation, how they differ to each other. All right. Of course, there are difference between public speaking and conversation. All right. Public speaking, for example, is a highly structured. All right. Compared to a conversation is actually no structure at all. You can just have a conversation with your friend just like that. Okay, when we talk about structure, we focus on the time limitation, the interruption system we have, how speaker anticipate question that might in the mind of audience. All right, of course, when you give a public speaking, you have a time limit, for example, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But when you have conversation, you can just converse uh, unlimited. All right, you can converse anytime you want, and the duration of the conversation is up to you. All right, second factors is the formal language. Basically, public speaking will use a more formal language compared to conversation. Of course, when you converse with people, we don't use really formal language. Okay, sometimes we use a street language, sometimes we use slang. All right, sometimes we use a certain word that maybe people outside of our circle cannot understand our words. All right, of course, when we talk about language, it may be in a conversation you use more slangs, all right, compared to public speaking. In conversation, maybe you can use jargons, all right, or technical term that certain people only can understand. All right, maybe if you are a logistic, when you have a conversation with a logistic student, maybe they can understand certain term. Okay, that's what we call jargons. All right, accent, how do you pronounce it? All right, basically, if you converse in the daily conversation, you use a local accent. For example, if you're Cantonese, you will use a Cantonese accent, or if you Terengganu, maybe you use a Terengganu accent. All right, basically in grammar, you expected to use a well-structured grammar. I mean, a very good language using the rules that stated in English, for example. But in conversation, there are no rules at all to be followed. Okay, because it's just a daily conversation. And the third factor is different method and mode of delivery. All right, and basically conversation, they are, I mean, they are the method. I mean, you can just freely having a conversation. But for public speaking, it depends to the occasion. Maybe if you go to maybe for example the gathering, there are certain ways of method or mode that you can deliver. For example, now I give you a lecture, I use the online mode. All right, so this is can be considered as public speaking, not a conversation. All right, when we talk about method and mode, we will focus on first voice projection, body posture, and also manner. Voice projection mean how do you articulate the voice. Of course, in public speaking, you should have audible voice. I mean, everybody, I mean, your audience can hear your voice, but in conversation, you may have a slow or loud voice, right? And you don't care about that, whether people annoy or not. But in public speaking, we care so much about voice projection. Same like body posture. Of course, you have to stand comfortably in front of your audience, but in conversation, I mean, you can just maybe lay down in the bed to have conversation with your friend. All right, and also there are certain manners that you have follow, or etiquette that you have to follow when you do a public speaking. But on conversation, no manner, I mean, no rules that you have to be followed to have a conversation with your friend. All right. Okay, guys, I believe that you may know some famous public speakers in a national level or international level. All right, whether in the nowadays era or maybe a long time ago. All right, so I will show you some pictures of famous public speakers, and we will discuss why they are famous on their public speaking. All right, first is Tun Dr. Mahathir, our fourth and also sixth prime minister, or sorry, seventh prime minister. All right, I think he is the longest he is the eldest or longest serving prime minister in the world. Okay, I think the strength of Dr. Mahathir is actually he is confident and is able to vocalize his idea, even though his idea is against to other people. I mean the leaders of the world. Okay, he just expressed his idea in an international platform like PBB, just like that. Okay, and he is one of the most influential Muslim leaders in the world. Okay, next we have, okay, maybe you don't like this figure. Okay, we have Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim. Now he's our opposition leader. He used to be deputy prime minister in 1998, if I'm mistaken, before he was fired by Tun Dr. Mahathir. All right, even though some of you maybe dislike him, but we just look at the his ability in giving public speaking. All right, you can watch Anwar Ibrahim video in YouTube. Okay, and you must say his public speaking is just remarkable. He know to whom he speak. Maybe when he speak in front of Chinese or Indian, the way he speak is very different. Maybe in front of Malay is way too different. But he analyze the audience. All right, and of course he has a protege who can speak well like him. Like for example, Azmin Ali, okay, Eza Muhammad Noor, Saifuddin Nasional. He's actually the protege of Anwar Ibrahim, who can give a good public speaking like him. Okay, next we have President Sukarno, the first president of Indonesia. Okay, one of the most influential leader in Indonesia. Through his word, he successfully do the confrontation with Malaysia at the time. Okay, he tried to actually combine Malaysian with Indonesian through Melayu Raya terselai. Okay, so he tried to influence and convince people from Indonesia and from Malaysia and say that his idea is good, but he failed. Okay, next figure is Dr. Zakir Naik. I believe that most of you know him. Okay, through his word. Okay, the people who listen his word, thousands of people who listen to his word actually embrace Islam after he finished his speech. All right, the way he debate is for me is very interesting because he can use the evidence that he learned and understand from Quran and other books too. For example, he also learned Hindus book, Bible, all right, and other religion book, and he tried to compare and show the fact of each book. And after the audience listen to his word, okay, they might embrace Islam because of that. Okay, next we have Ustad Abilu. I think this is maybe in your era. Abilu is one of the famous public speakers. All right, I know him because he was my junior when I was a student in UPM. Okay, in my opinion, the specialty that Abilu has is he can give a speech. He can give a speech Similarly, like he converse with other people, the way he gives speak, like he converse informally to other people. Okay, he can attract audience like that. I mean, for example, teenagers, all right, maybe those who maybe it's not that easy to be attracted, but Ustad Abilu can use. Okay, I still remember he liked to go room to room and ask people to join solat jamaah at surau. Okay, is very friendly and warm. Okay, the technique that he used the same like he give a public speaking. Okay, we also have this is the youngest minister. Now he's a former minister, uh, Said Sadiq. Okay, he was the best debaters in Southeast Asia. Okay, no wonder he has a good public speaking skill. Right, we also have, okay, one of the famous Muslim preachers, or ustaz we call it in Malaysia, Ustaz Azhar Idrus. All right, I think it's famous because he liked to use jokes and humors through his lecture. And one of the specialty of Ustaz Azhar Idrus is he liked to use Terengganu accent, the local accent. Okay, the way he used the accent actually can attract audience, especially from his kampung or people, local people, to listen to his lecture. Okay, we also have Haris Iskandar, one of the comedian, the famous comedian. Okay, Haris Iskandar used his humor and joke, of course, because he's a comedian, to entertain people. Okay, and he was recognized as the funniest man, I think, in the world, one of the funniest men in the world. All right, so he's famous not only in Malaysia but also in international level. Okay, we also have Khairi Jamaluddin, our minister now in Mosti. All right, his English is very good. No wonder, because he graduated from Oxford University, if I'm not mistaken. All right, the way he speak is he has a caliber and charisma. All right, when he gives us public speaking. We also have Nelson Mandela, all right, who influenced people to against apartheid campaign at the time, the racism, all right, that happened in South Africa at the time, and he successfully become the president of South Africa at the time. I think one of the element that can help him to become a successful leader is through his word. Okay, Nelson Mandela. Okay, I have discussed that giving public speaking is very important and very significant in our life because it can give the impact and we can actually express our idea in public. But the issue is, how can we become a very good public speaker? Okay, there are a lot of tips that you can just find it from the internet, or you can do some reading uh, to look at the tips to become a good public speaker. Right, this is just the general overview on how to become a public speaker. All right, the most important thing is when you want to give a public speaking, you must know your audience. Okay, if you look at I think most of politicians, when they give a public speaking, they will make sure they know the audience, who is their audience. All right, and they try to do an analysis on that. Okay, apart from that, do play your strength. What is your strength? If your strength is you can speak by using certain accent, all right, why not using that strength? If you think you are very good in making jokes, okay, you can actually use jokes in as the one of the element in your speech. All right, okay, make sure you know your and you know and you can identify your strength. All right, release nervous energy with controlled breathing and lay off the coffee, man. This is the way you try to deal with nervousness when you are in front of public speaking. Of course, everybody will face a will become nervous and stage fright when they give public speaking, but you know the technique on how to minimize. Okay, minimize the level of nervousness when you give public speaking. All right, use notes sparingly. Okay, most of the leader, they don't depend totally on the notes or the speech tag. Okay, they just use as a guide. They don't read aloud, but they just read as a guide. Okay, so use notes sparingly. All right, practice transitioning from a transcript to your memory. This is very important, means you know the topics well. You don't just memorizing it, but you know the topics that you want to give in your public speaking well. So when the audience asks you certain question, you can easily answer the question. All right, take your time, don't rushing when you give your public speaking. Yeah, usually try to take a breath, and also try to pause a little bit when you give a speech. All right, there's no need for you to rushing. Okay, and don't apologize at the start of speech. It become you so apologetic, and people maybe don't have confidence when you keep saying sorry in your speech. Okay, so be confident, be brave, and you can use a lot of techniques, yeah, when you give public speaking. And I believe all of us, has ability to give public speaking in front of people, when you finish a discourse, inshallah. Okay, I think this is very normal. We talk about stage fright, okay, which can be defined as a feeling of fear, of nervousness that some people have just before they appear in front of an audience. Not only public speaker, a singer, all right, or maybe when you do some sort of presentation in your class, you might have a stage fright. Okay, basically, normally people sometimes don't realize that they have stage fright, but if you think you have this symptom, okay, you might have a stage fright. You will definitely have a stage fright. Okay, when you dry, your mouth is dry, okay, tight throat, sweaty hands, cold hand, your hands is shaking or trembling, nausea, pulse is very fast, like you are running 100 kilometers, but you just actually want to give a speech, but the your pulse is beating so fast. All right, and then we have shaky knees, trembling lips, and many more. All right, when you have the symptom, you may have a stage fright. Okay, and it's normal. Okay, and you should learn on how to minimize, okay, the stage fright. Okay. Okay, stage fright is something that I believe that all people don't like it, but you have to face it, because when you give public speaking, stage fright is very normal. Even though they are famous public speakers, they will face a stage fright. All right, so we have to think on how to overcoming it accordingly. Okay, so before you give public speaking, maybe you can choose to listen to your favorite music, maybe instrumental. Okay, it can boost your motivation and confidence to give public speaking in front of people. Okay, apart from that, you can not to say skip the latte, but you can reduce the number of caffeine in your drink. Okay, especially before you give a speech, because according to research, caffeine can lead to a very worse stage fright. Okay, and you don't feel confident. Okay, if you want to stay up to study, yes, you can take caffeine, but before you give a speech, please try to minimize, or maybe to skip the coffee. All right, apart from that, of course, you can do some sort of breathing or meditation, especially before you give or you deliver the speech. Okay, slowly take 10 full breath in and out, and throughout your nose, count each breath as you go. Okay, this is one of the tips that given by the expert. Okay, before that, after that, I think this is the process that you have to take, is to prepare your visual aid, prepare your speech tag, prepare your point, and make sure you know well the topic. You are well versed about the topic that you are going to deliver to the audience. Okay, this is very, very important. Okay, apart from breathing, apart from preparing, you can do some sort of stretching. Okay, stretching will help you to loosen up the tense muscle, and uh, allow you to focus on something other than of the duties. All right, stretching like you do before you do some heavy exercises, because giving a speech is also heavy. okay, heavy action that you have to do in front of people. And I think when you give public speaking, it's a time for you to enjoy, okay, not to stress. Okay, don't be so stressful when you give a public speaking, because when you enjoy every moment, you can actually minimize, or you can deal with the stage fright accordingly or successfully. Okay, this is actually the task that you have to do after you listen to my lecture, which is the online forum. Okay, you can read. Actually, I have put on the meeting chat of each group. Okay, if you group one, go to group one. If you group two, you go to group two, and until group five. All right, make sure you discuss about who is your favorite, okay, public speaker, right, that you like, and you dislike, and why. Give a justification why do you like this public speaker, and why do you dislike this public speaker. Okay, first, and then at the end of discussion, please conclude, okay, what are the qualities that the public speaker should have to become a very good public speakers in the not to say in the world, but to in general. All right, what is the qualities that they should have. All right, so when you do this exercise, make sure don't press the new conversation, but press, all right, reply. Okay, you have to press reply to reply to my forum. Okay, because new conversation, if I will give the next upcoming online forum, I will write new conversation. But if you want to reply for my current post, you have to press reply. Okay, so make sure you discuss one public speaker that you like and one that you dislike, and please make sure you give justification or reason. All right, second, list down at least 5 qualities that a public speaker should have based on the discussion in your online forum. So I think the representative of the group must conclude, okay, based on what you have discussed. Okay, the forum must be completed during synchronous session in our class. So don't do my online task during apa ni, subject lain punya ke, don't do that thing. And the online must be done in this way. Okay, I will monitor each group progress from time to time. And if you don't have time to finish in synchronous, you maybe bring it to asynchronous lesson. All right, so no worries. Okay, guys, I think that's it for today for this lesson, week 2. All right, we will see in question answer session. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.